Welcome everyone. India have lived up to their top billing, beating the second best team in the World Cup so far, South Africa. It was another dominant performance that made both the Proteas bowling and batting look absolutely pedestrian. This team, led by the best of the world's batsmen like Virat Kohli, and the best bowling lineup right now anywhere in the world, is doing the unthinkable, which is getting to the knockout stages unbeaten. They do have one match left, but given the way the Indian team is playing, there is hardly any doubt what the result of that match versus the Netherlands will be. But let's get you a recap of the South Africa batting innings. Set a target of 327. The Proteas lost in-form de Kock in the second over itself, with Siraj picking up his first. Shami and Jadeja then wreaked havoc on the top order, reducing South Africa to 40 for 5 inside 15 overs, and it just didn't recover from there. Ravindra was their top scorer with 13, and of course Ravindra Jadeja has ended up with a 5-wicket haul this time. So it's not one of the Indian batsmen. If it's not Bumrah, then it's Siraj. If it's not Siraj, it's Shami. If it's not Shami, it's Jadeja. And if it's not Jadeja, there is still Kuldeep Yadav coming for you. Earlier, of course, India put in an all-round performance to put 326 for 5 in their 50 overs, with Virat Kohli leading from the front with his record equaling 49th ODI ton. Also his second not-out century of this World Cup. Shreyas Iyer gave him able support in the middle with a 77, while Jadeja hit a late cameo of 29 of just 15 balls to take India to a winning score after electing to bat first. So Virat Kohli, the star of the match, and of course with the bat, hard-fought and gritty century, and a memorable one at that, with his 35th birthday today, a record equaling 49th ton. But as always, India is looking invincible and unbeatable, more because of its bowling lineup. Jadeja and Shami sharing the bulk of the wickets today, and clearly were unplayable for the Proteas. So India is sitting comfortably at the top of the table now with 16 points, unbeaten in the tournament with one match to go. South Africa face only their second defeat in the event and stay on 12 points. Now they could face a run for the second spot on the table by Australia, who still have 2 more matches to go and are on 10 points, while Kiwis, Pakistan and Afghanistan are eyeing the final semis spot. Let me go across to our guest joining us. Murli Kartik, former India cricketer, is with me in the studio. Also joining me, Ayaz Memon, 1983 World Cup winner. Jimmy Paji is with us. Graeme Swann, former English cricketer, is also with us. Jimmy Paji, the batting lineup of South Africa, we've been talking so much about their explosiveness, just the scores they've been putting on. But against this bowling lineup, they've come up a cropper.
I think you can only compare them with Sri Lankan batting, nothing more than that. Yeah, because the technique is very, very poor against Spain. As I said, because in India, I think the guard where you stand is the key thing as a batter. Because if you see the dismissal, I think the straighter you play, the better chance you have to score runs. But if you just keep on playing sweep shot and across the line and all those kind of a thing, and getting beaten with a little turn, so it doesn't show much about their skill as a batsman against spinners. So I'm not surprised. I was absolutely sure that India would win handsomely, and I think I didn't expect this to happen in 25, 26 overs.
Yes.
Actually, I was just going to go for a shower and have to rush back, Because I think it was a very poor performance, and this also shows that, see, they lost the game to Afghanistan against quality spin. They have no clue. They don't read. They don't understand how to go about it. They don't use their feet. They don't have the right technique. Or even when they defend, that's okay. That is, technique is good for hard and bouncy track, but not for Indian track where you have to lean, you have to go on top of the ball. They don't. They play away from the body. They play too far away. So this is the reason. I'm not surprised. I think, but what a fantastic win for India. I think all the bowlers have done a wonderful job. Whether you talk about pace, I was absolutely sure that the spinners would do wonders over here. On that they'll be unplayable. Jadeja, that is, I was seeing Jadeja to pick up 5 wickets. So it's a fantastic performance. Actually, this team actually reminds me of 1985 of Indian team when we won the World Championship in Australia. The bowlers did a wonderful job over there. So these guys are doing, and batters are doing, their job also. So fantastic win. And I think now South Africa has to think seriously how to go about against spin. Against quality spin. So they have to do some homework properly, otherwise they will be in shambles.
Kartik, this is actually mind-boggling, because all of the teams who are looking good in all of the rest of the matches, and we were actually thinking of South Africa playing spin a little bit better than some of the other teams, And here you are facing India, whether it's our pacers, seamers or our spinners, there's just absolutely no lineup that has stood up against them.
Yeah, 100%. And it shows the quality of the Indian bowling lineup. You just, before Ravindra Jadeja came in, you just look at the way the Indian seamers bowled. Bumrah, and also when you know that the opposition is in fine form, and I'm talking from a South African viewpoint, when you know that you're up against the likes of Bumrah, Shami and Siraj up front, sometimes even the batters have doubts in their mind. Yes, you want to put pressure back on them, but you also want to be watchful. And in that, you come unstuck. Just some of the deliveries. If you think of Mohammad Shami, he got one going away from the same line, and it was Aiden Markram. And then one comes back from the same line. And as a batter, you're thinking, what do I line up? Yes, as Jimmy Pa said, some of the shots against spin, especially when you're defending, and it's about defense, isn't it? You ask Swanee, you'll ask me. As a batter, as a bowler, we always think of somebody's defense. If that is his strongest suit, then you're wondering. But over here, it's the defense which is letting them down. You can understand somebody like a Klaasen trying to play a sweep shot and trying to upset the bowling rhythm, and that is where the smartness or the cricketing smarts of Ravindra Jadeja came in, where he just fired one, trying to sneak one through. But apart from that, just the collective bowling effort. Yeah. It's not just about wickets alone. It's just the kind of intense pressure they're putting the opposition batters into. No, as we were talking about earlier as well, Swanee, there's no respite for the opposition batsmen. There is one after the other. Some of the best bowlers that are coming at you, and all of them are in wicket-taking form, and all of them are looking ominous.
Absolutely. And when you've got spinners in form and of the quality of Jadeja and Kuldeep, you don't necessarily need a good opening bowling pair. However, India have got the best three seamers as well. So everything's looking great. That, for me, was just about the perfect one-day game for India. They won the toss and they took the initiative by batting, made 327. And I think all of us at the break, if we're honest, were thinking, have they just fell slightly short? Could they have got 350? Is this going to be closer than we think? But then using that scoreboard pressure and using a slow turning pitch with world-class spinners. And that's when we were talking earlier about South Africa being better against spin these days. That actually showed today how if you get spinners on a wicket that's favourable for spin bowling, still no one in the world is that good a player at spin. I always contend that. If you get a wicket that suits world-class spinners, they always come up trumps. 100%. And Jadeja and Kuldeep today were brilliant. And that was, for India, that's the most complete game of this World Cup. They've had others that have been brilliant. That, for me, and as a statement against South Africa, another strong side, well, that's just basically won you the World Cup there today, I think.
Venki, a lot of the other teams must be kind of scratching their heads. They've all come up against India and have lost badly. There's only Netherlands to go. They must also be, kind of shaking in their boots at the prospect, because now they've been put in all kinds of situations. They've been put into bat. They won that match despite, getting out on a low score. They won a toss and elected to bat, put on a decent total, and of course have the bowling lineup to defend it. There is literally nothing a team can do right now to upset this team or to even beat it. And it's unbeaten in 8 matches. The last time that happened was actually in 2003 when India went on to play till the final. Of course, we all know what happened in that final. I'll get to that in just a bit. Whether there can be a hiccup. But this is as consummate a performance as there can be. I'm wondering what the other teams are thinking, Venki.
I honestly don't know. I'm sure they'll be, as you rightly said, shaking in their boots. I'm sure they won't have come up with any sort of an answer. They were probably hoping for one of the team to give them the blueprint in terms of how to defeat this Indian team. I think, but none of them seem to have that strategy, have that plan. They don't have plan A, plan B. If they lose a couple of wickets, how to come up and sort of build a partnership. I think whenever you see the bowlers, the bowling attack, everybody in the Indian team, every single bowler in the Indian team, the intent is to take the wicket, to attack the stumps, to take the wicket, and to apply more pressure on the opposition. And the kind of lengths that they are bowling, I think I don't think any bowling attack in this competition are able to match them. They're able to swing the ball, they're able to seam the ball around.